So guys, in January, I received 7 different dividend payments, many of which came from some of the highest yielding stocks in my portfolio, like Altria Group, VICI Properties, and Blue Owl Capital Corporation. And in this video, we're going to go through each of those payments and add them all up to reveal my dividend income for the month, which as we'll see was a great way to kick off 2025. But before we get to those, I want to hear from you. Leave me a comment below and let me know what were some of your highest dividend payments this month and which stocks did they come from. I'd be curious to hear if we have any of the same ones. Anyway guys, getting into all of my payments, the first one that I received in January came from KRC, Kilroy Realty Corporation, who paid me $41.58, which was a great way to kick off the month. And if we take a look at my position over here using my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which you can start using for free, there is a link to download this spreadsheet in the description of the video. But here we can see I have 77 shares of KRC at an average cost of about $37.50 per share. So with the current share price a couple bucks above that, that's going to leave me in the green by about 4.6% just in terms of share price. And the dividends definitely give me a nice boost on a total return basis. I'm up about 16.4% with this position. But anyway guys, now moving on to the second payment I received in January. This one came from one of the other real estate investment trusts in my portfolio. This one was VICI Properties, who paid me $45.41, another really nice payment. And this is going to bring my total so far for the month to $86.99. And if we take a look at VICI's share price over here on Snapstock, we can see that it's had a nice little rebound in the last month. It's up about 4.4%, and just today as I'm recording this, it's up another 2.7%. So VICI is on the rise, and it's officially back over $30 per share, which is kind of bittersweet. And if we zoom out over the last year, VICI is now up about 6%. And seeing the share price under $30 per share was fun while it lasted, and it was something that I definitely took advantage of. If you guys have been watching my videos lately, you'll know that I have been loading the boat on VICI Properties. Taking a look at this, these are all of my VICI purchases in about the last month or so. And just in this short amount of time, I've added 23 shares to my position, which I was so happy to do. And taking a look at my position with all of those purchases, that's going to leave me now with 128 shares of VICI at an average cost of $28.10. So like I said, the current share price is now up above $30 per share, which is going to leave me up about 8% just in terms of share price, and up a little bit more, about 10.5% on a total return basis. So things are looking good with VICI. And then with that, guys, moving on to dividend payment number 3. This one is the largest of the day so far. This one came from Altria Group, who paid me $57.29, which officially puts me across the $100 mark for the month and leaves me so far with $144.28. And if we take a look at Altria's share price performance, there's not been much action in the last month. It's only up about 1.75%. But if we zoom out over the last year, Altria has had a very strong year. The stock is up about 42%, and this doesn't include dividends. And with that gain in the last year, as I'm sure you can imagine, my position is sitting pretty. I have 56 shares of Altria at an average cost of $42.63, and with the current share price up, about $10 above my cost basis, this is going to leave me up about 24% in terms of share price, and more than double that on a total return basis. I'm up 54.5%, including dividends. But anyway, guys, now moving on to payment number 4. This one came from the third real estate investment trust in my portfolio. I have all the REITs paying me in January. This one was from Carey, who paid me $33.53, a very nice payment, and that's going to bring my total so far to $177.81. And if we take a look at my Carey position, this one has been such a laggard in my portfolio, guys. Fortunately, it's not a huge position of mine. I have about 38 shares at an average cost that is quite a bit above the current share price of $65.74, and the current share price is about $9 below my cost basis, which is going to leave me down 14.6% just looking at the share price. But thank goodness for those dividends, guys, because that brings me back in the green, and including dividends, I'm up 0.6%. We barely made it. But then, guys, moving on to payment number 5. This one came from the highest yielding stock in my portfolio, which is Blue Owl Capital Corporation. And in January, Blue Owl paid me $43.07, which now officially has us across the $200 mark for the month, leaving me so far with $220.88. Now, guys, taking a look at what I have with Blue Owl, this is the smallest holding in my portfolio. It only makes up about 2.3% of the total portfolio, and I have 116.4 shares at an average cost of $13.50 per share. But with that, the current share price is about $1.50 above my average cost per share, which is going to leave me up 10.5% in terms of share price. Not too shabby, but look what difference the dividends make with this position, guys. Because it's such a high yielder, a lot of the returns from this position are going to be coming from dividends. So on a total return basis, I'm up about 46% with Blue Owl, which is not too shabby. And then with that, guys, moving on to dividend payment number 6. This one actually came from the other BDC in my portfolio. This one's a monthly payer, so Main Street pays every single month. And in January, Main Street paid me $14.07, which is going to bring my total so far in January to $234.95. And if we look at the share price performance, Main Street has had a killer month, guys. Just in the last 30 days, Main Street is up 4.3% and is officially across the $60 per share mark. So that's looking really good. And if we zoom out over the last year, Main Street has had a killer year. The stock is up 44.2%, and that doesn't even include dividends. Now with that, taking a look at my position, I have 56.25 shares of Main Street. This is not a huge position of mine, but the average cost per share is looking really good, $40.66. And if we scroll over looking at the returns just in terms of share price, this is going to leave me up 50.6%, which just goes to show, guys, that even these high yielders can generate some pretty solid share price returns if you buy them at the right price, which is the key ingredient there. You have to buy them at the right price. And then with that, including dividends, I'm up 73.6% with Main Street. So overall, this position has done really well for me. But anyway, guys, now moving on to payment number 7. This one came from the monthly dividend company. We're talking about Realty Income, who paid me $27.49 to kick off 2025. And like Main Street Capital Corporation, Realty Income had a pretty solid month. The stock was up 4.1%. But if we zoom out over the last year, it's really not looking too much better than that. In the last 365 days, the stock is not even up 6%, about 5.9%. But today, as I'm recording this, it's had another really good day. It's up another 2.6%. And then taking a look at my Realty Income position, guys, I now have 106.14 shares. And in the last month or so, maybe month and a half, I have been adding a little bit to Realty Income. Nothing too crazy. I think in this time period, I've maybe added 2 shares. And for a while there, I was bouncing between buying VICI Properties and Realty Income and J&J. I was kind of trying to spread my contributions across those 3 companies, but I was really going much more heavily into VICI Properties and J&J because Realty Income is already a sizable position in my portfolio, and it is the largest income generator in my portfolio as well. So I wasn't going to be too quick to add a whole lot more. But anyway, my position is looking okay. My average cost is $54.34, and now with this gain in the last month and today, the current share price is back above my average cost per share, which is going to leave me up 1.7% just in terms of share price and 13% on a total return basis. But anyway, guys, with that final payment from Realty Income, that's going to bring my total dividend income for the month to $262.44. And I am so stoked about that. For me, that's a really, really solid month. I think at this point in time, my portfolio is averaging about $260-ish per month in dividends, so that's slightly above the average. And with that, guys, this month's income represents a crazy 36% gain year over year. In January of 2024, I brought in $192.91, so that's quite a big jump compared to this time last year. So like I said, overall, this was a great way to kick off the new year. I couldn't be more stoked with how things are progressing in this portfolio. It really just speaks to what can happen if you stay disciplined and stay patient and just let time and compounding do its thing. And then just to recap all of the dividend payments from this month, guys, and showing you some of the year-over-year gains from these individual payments, there were a couple, big year-over-year jumps, most notably there with Main Street Capital Corporation and Realty Income, both of which saw about 50% gains year-over-year. So overall, that's really nice to see. And I would think that this big year-over-year jump, a lot of that had to do with the introduction of VICI Properties into the portfolio. This was the first January where I received a VICI payment, and I think in total this is only my second VICI payment since I've started the position. But anyway, guys, that's what went down in the month of January. And with that, now I want to switch gears and show you which companies are going to be paying me in this upcoming month here in February. And to do this, guys, we are going to be using the dividend calendar tool over here on Snowball Analytics, which is hands down one of my favorite portfolio trackers out there, guys. And if you're looking for something with more bells and whistles than your standard spreadsheet, then I highly recommend Snowball because they have a lot of features specifically tailored to dividend investors. So I think you guys will really like like it. And the best part is you can actually use it for free. In the description and in the pinned comment, you'll find a link to try out Snowball Analytics with a 14-day trial. And like I said, I think you guys will really like this platform, so I highly recommend at least checking out the trial. It's free, so there's no harm there. But anyway, looking at all of the dividend payments I should be receiving in February, first and foremost, we have Lowe's there at the top, who on February 5th should be paying about $19 in dividends. That's not too bad. And then just over a week later, 9 days later, we'll get a killer payment coming in from EPD, almost $60 from this one stock right there. That's pretty nice. Then we've got our usual Realty Income payment, who looks to be paying on February 14th. I'm guessing that's a Friday, because usually all of these stocks will pay on the 15th. So February 14th, which looks to be a really good day of dividends, we have Realty Income for $28, AbbVie for $16.50, and then Main Street for another $14.07. So that's going to be really nice. And then a few days later, we've got Procter & Gamble on the 18th, paying $28.25. And then Williams-Sonoma, which is the best performer in my portfolio, paying $20.50 on the 21st. And then we're going to be closing out the month with a really nice payment from Starbucks on the 28th for $47.62. And if we combine all of these payments, guys, that's going to bring my total for the month to just over $233. So February is shaping up to be another great month of dividend income, guys. And with that, if you're in the market for some cheap dividend stocks, then check out this next video right over here, where I'm telling you about 3 of them, all of which look like great pickups right now for your portfolio. So click right over here to learn about those, and I'll see you in the next one.